Portraiture Lesson 3. So what are we learning today? We're going to learn about Picasso and Cubism. What sort of paintings do you think Picasso painted when we say he painted in a Cubist style? Cubism began in France in 1907. Pablo Picasso and George Braque began painting figures that were made up of cubes, spheres, cylinders, cones, and other geometric shapes. The paintings looked like someone had cut them up and glued them back together. So this is a painting and it's called Picasso's Guitar. Can you see a person playing the guitar? It's not so obvious, but the player and the guitar are there. Okay, so when we're talking about Cubism, we need to understand this thing called perspective. Perspective is the technique used to represent a 3D world, i.e. what we see, on a 2D surface, so a piece of paper or canvas, in a way that looks realistic and accurate, just as we see in nature. Cubist artists such as Picasso did not use their perspective in their paintings. Instead, they showed lots of different views of the object being painted at once. Can you see the different angles of all these women's faces? Cubists wanted to show the most important parts of the things they painted. You would never be able to see all the sides of a person's face at the same time. Cubists, however, wanted to show all the sides of an object in the same picture. They therefore abandoned perspective. At first, Cubists used very little colour in their paintings. They used mostly browns, greys and blues. In 1912, colour re-entered the picture and some artists like Picasso began using more than just paint and canvas in their art. Picasso used paper and cloth in his paintings. So what can you tell your guardian about Picasso and Cubism? So what I want you to do is think about perspective, geometric shapes and colour, and try to talk about what you've learned today. So what are our tasks? So using magazines and newspapers, we're going to produce 2 portraits in the style of Cubism. You were asked last week to have collected magazines and newspapers for today's lesson. First, we're going to create a Cubist portrait folding the paper, so you can see example on the right, and the second is going to be a collage. There will now be 2 demonstration videos to show you how to do both. For the first demonstration, you can see that I am using a folding technique, folding in the eye, folding in around the mouth and the jawline, and then also the nose to give it a cubist-like appearance, like Picasso's portraits that I've showed you earlier. Once I am happy with the distorted effect, what I want you to do is stick that in down with using your glue stick on the next empty page in your sketchbook. Checklist. So first thing you're going to do is take out scissors, glue sticks, magazines and newspapers that I reminded you to collect last week. You're going to watch the lesson, which is the YouTube link, and you're going to follow my pre-recorded steps to create a folded Cubist portrait and a collage Cubist portrait like the demonstrations. Use mine as a guide, make yours individual to you. Keep looking at the examples of Cubism and take inspiration from their work. The last thing you're going to do is you're going to upload it onto Google Classroom by the end of class time. Thank you and good luck.